Hello everyone and welcome to Manga Master. Today we're going to be starting Death Note written by Tsugumi Obo with art by Takashi Obata. Chapter 1 Boredom. Death Note opens in the realm of the Shinigami. In the realm of the Shinigami, a figure crouches alone as he watches two other figures off in the distance. Same old thing day after day. What a bore, the figure thinks to himself. Meanwhile, in the human world, we see a young man staring out a classroom window. This world is a rotten mess, the young man thinks to himself as he stares outside. Back in the realm of the Shinigami, we see the two previously mentioned figures playing a game that I'm assuming is like dice. Two death's heads. I win again, one of the figures exclaims. It's been 5 days now. About time I got going. The figure watching the other Shinigami says. Were you off to Ryuk? One of the Shinigami inquires. Any place you go around here, it's all barren anyway, haha. The other Shinigami chimes in. I drop my death note, Ryuk replies. Whoops. Hyuk hyuk hyuk. You really screwed up, man. One of the nameless Shinigami replies. Hey, weren't you carrying around a second one behind the old man's back? You saying you dropped both? The other Shinigami adds. So you got any idea where you dropped it? Kayak kak kak. One of the Shinigami asks. Yeah, the human world, Ryuk replies. What? The Shinigami asks stunned. Ryuk pays them no mind as he walks off. Ryuk then opens a portal and flies into it, entering the human world. This single notebook, dropped into the human world by a Shinigami, sets off an all-out battle between two chosen people. We return to the classroom where the young man from before continues to stare out the window. The young man's name is Light Yagami and he is 17 years old. Something outside the window seems to catch Light's attention. A notebook? Light thinks to himself, spotting a black notebook on the ground. As school lets out, we see Light heading over to the mysterious notebook and picking it up. Death Note, the young man says aloud. A notebook of death? Pfft, Light thinks dismissively. Not that I can blame him. This is a death god's notebook. How to use it? Light says to himself as he reads the contents of the notebook. Geez, it's all in English, what a pain. Light muses to himself. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. Ha ha, talk about sick. Why's everyone into this kind of crap anyway? Like those dumb chain letters that say you'll get cancer if you don't pass them on. I'm home, Light ponders as he enters his residence. We see Light seated at a desk as he pores over his newfound notebook. It appears that whoever left the notebook at the school was kind enough to leave some instructions on the notebook's usage. The note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name. Therefore, people sharing the same name will not be affected. If the cause of death is written within 40 seconds of writing the person's name, it will happen. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will simply die of a heart attack. After writing the cause of death, details of the death should be written in the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds, which is an oddly specific amount of time. So you can let people die peacefully or make them suffer. A prank this intricate isn't too bad, I guess. Light thought to himself as he lay down. As he lay in his bed, Light glances over to the notebook. Write in their name and they die. How stupid. Light muses as he yawns. 5 days later, we see Light walking with two other students. See ya, one of the students calls out with a small wave as Light arrives at his house. I'm home, Light calls out. Light, is that you? A voice replies from the distance. A young woman that I'm assuming is Light's mother appears with a big smile on her face. Oh yeah. Here, Light says, producing some papers from his bag. Oh my, you placed first again and these practice college entrance exams are nationwide. Light's mother exclaims with pride. Light replies nonchalantly. Well, I'll be studying so don't bother me, okay? Light says as he climbs the steps to his room. Okay, dear. Light's mother replies. Oh, Light, is there anything that you've been wanting? Anything at all, just let me know. Light's mother calls up to him as he heads up the stairs. No, Mom, Light replies flatly. I already got what I want, Light thinks to himself as he enters his room and locks the door behind himself. Phew, Light lets out a little sigh as he turns on his TV and his computer and sits at his desk. Light looks nervous as he opens the drawer that he's been keeping the death note in. Hey, Light giggles in what I'm assuming is a maniacal manner. You seem to like it, a big black man says from behind. It's Ryuk. Light screams at the sight of the Shinigami. I don't blame him considering Ryuk's big, bug eyes, razor-sharp teeth, almost non-existent nose, and Joker-inspired grin.
Why are you so surprised to see me? I'm Ryuk, the Shinigami who dropped that notebook. The way you were acting just now, I can tell you know it isn't just any old notebook, right?
Ryuk says to Light, who's still sitting on the floor with a terrified look on his face. A Shinigami? Light replies, seemingly still stuck on that part of the conversation. Light takes a moment to collect himself and slowly stands facing Ryuk. A death god. I'm not surprised to see you, Ryuk. In fact, I've been waiting for you, Light says with a slight smirk.
Really?
Ryuk replies stone-faced. Or maybe that's just his normal face. Gee, a personal visit from a Shinigami. Very kind of you. Not that I doubted that this was a death god's notebook, but seeing things with my own eyes like this lets me act with greater certainty. Plus, there are some things I wanted to ask you, Light says as he opens up the death note and holds it up for Ryuk to see. There are pages filled with names.
Wow, this is amazing. Gotta say, I'm the one who's impressed. I've heard of death notes getting down to the human world a few times before, but no one's ever done this many in just 5 days. Most people would be too scared.
Ryuk replies, looking at all the names in the death note. I'm ready for anything, Ryuk. I used the notebook knowing it belonged to a Shinigami. And now the Shinigami's here. What happens to me now? You take my soul or something? Light asks with a look of uncertainty.
Huh? What's that? Some fantasy you humans came up with. I'm not going to do anything to you. The moment a death note lands in the human world, it belongs to the human world. So it's yours now.
Ryuk replied as Light looks at the Shinigami wide-eyed. Mine. Light says mostly to himself.
You don't want it, give it to another human. When you do, I'll just have to erase all your death note memories.
Oh, and Ryuk says as he walks onto Light's balcony, climbs the railing, and jumps off.
Since you've used what was my notebook, you're the only one who can see me. Nobody else can hear me either, of course.
Ryuk explains while perched on an electric pole. 2 young women pass underneath him, completely oblivious to Ryuk's presence.
The death note is the bond between Light the human and Ryuk the Shinigami.
Ryuk announces. The bond. Light repeats. So, there really is no price for using the death note? Light asks tentatively.
Well, not exactly, but there is the terror and torment that only humans who've used it will experience. And when you die, I'll be the one to write your name down, but don't think that any human who's used the death note can go to heaven or hell. That's all.
Ryuk says as he towers over Light. The 2 lock eyes for a moment and Light's terrified expression slowly morphs into a grin that matches Ryuk's permanent ghastly smile.
You'll find out about that after you die.
Ryuk replies somewhat menacingly. Oh, okay, one more question. Why did you choose me? Light asks the Shinigami.
Huh, Hyuk, don't flatter yourself. All I did was drop the notebook, that's all. You thought I chose you, 'cause you're so smart or something? It just happened to land somewhere around here. And you just happened to pick it up. That's why I wrote the instructions in English. It's the most popular language in your world.
Ryuk explains, hopefully shattering Light's egotistical notion that he's some sort of chosen one. Then why did you drop it? Light asks dumbfounded. Don't tell me it was by mistake, after you went and wrote all those instructions. Light exclaims, seemingly hoping for some deeper meaning to all of this.
Why did I drop it? Because I was bored, that's why. It might be a weird thing for a Shinigami to say, but I just didn't feel like I was really alive. In actual fact, Shinigami these days don't have a lot to do. All they do is nap or gamble. If they see you scribbling humans' names into your death note, they say, "What are you working so hard for?" And they laugh at you. I'm in the Shinigami's realm, so killing people in the human world isn't any fun. But if I write the names of Shinigami into the book, they don't die. It's more fun to be here is how I figured it.
Light looks stunned by these revelations as he and Ryuk stare at each other for a moment before Ryuk continues.
I gotta say though, you really word a lot of names in here.
Ryuk says as he looks through the death note. I was bored too, Light admits. Of course, I didn't believe it at first. But that notebook has a power that makes anybody want to try using it, at least once. In what I'm assuming is a flashback, we see Light sitting on his bed alone in his room. He looks over at the death note on his desk. Soon, the young man gets up and cracks open the death note. Wait a minute. If someone actually dies, would that make me a murderer? Light ponders to himself. I guess it would have to be someone it's okay to kill. who has no relation to me at all, and there has to be a way to find out right away if they die. Hey, that's right. Geez, I'm getting too serious about this. Light thinks to himself as he turns on the television. There's a news report going on currently. The man who indiscriminately killed and wounded 6 people yesterday in Shinjuku is still barricaded inside this nursery school, with 8 hostages, including little children. The Metropolitan Police have determined the man's identity. He is Kuro Otoharada, 42 years old and unemployed. 2 days ago, Otoharada. Light looks over at the television with keen interest, and we can almost see the wheels beginning to turn in the young man's mind. Light writes the name Kuro Otoharada in the death note and intently watches the television. 40 seconds and it's a heart attack. Light thinks to himself, that's 40 seconds. Nothing, I knew it. Light thinks as he continues to watch the news report, seemingly dejected that the death note didn't work. However, the broadcaster quickly announces, what's this? The hostages are coming out. They seem to be all right. And now the police are going in. Will they be able to arrest Otoharada? They're coming back out. Light looks confused by the developments unfolding on the television. The news report continues. No sign of their captor just yet. What exactly is going on? This just in. The captor is inside of the nursery school. And he is dead. It appears Otoharada is dead. The broadcaster exclaims excitedly. Dead? Light thinks to himself as he looks shocked by these recent developments. The police are emphasizing that they did not shoot him. Could that mean he committed suicide? Well, the hostages are stating that he suddenly collapsed. A heart attack. It could be just a coincidence. There's only one way to find out. Light thinks to himself as he stares down at the death note. Light! A voice calls from downstairs. It's 6:25 already. You have your prep course today. Light's mother calls out as she pokes her head out from around the corner. Yeah, I was just getting ready to go. Light lies as if he wasn't just totally consumed by the death note. Somebody. It would be okay to kill. No, who ought to die? So, I guess it has to be a criminal after all. But not anyone too major, or the cops will keep it secret for a while. I need a result right away. Light muses to himself as he enters his classroom. Hey Rio baby. One of the students says to another. What? Sudu? Rio replies nervously. Lend me some money, 2,000'll do it. Sudu replies. Who? What? Again? Rio replies as he hangs his head a bit. Yo, dudes! We're going to the gaming center tonight. Rio shouts across the cafeteria as he holds up a fistful of money. Sudu, try killing him? No, I should avoid anybody I actually know. Am I being too careful? A guy like that nobody's even going to notice. Light ruminated. However, the young man was forcefully ejected from his little reverie as a piece of chalk collided with his head. Ow! Light exclaims. You, Yagami. Mr. Number 1 nationwide. What are you doing spacing out? You're our number 1 pupil. We need you to place first again. The teacher declares, pointing a finger in Light's direction. Yes sir. Sorry sir. Light quickly replies. Later after class, we see Light walking down the street. Hey, Maki. Want a party tomorrow night with some guys from college 10 o'clock? Yeah, totally. Can I come too? 3 girls chat amongst themselves. My mom isn't here yet? What's that Nad doing? Geez, Rio shouts out as Light walks past. Damn. Start looking around you. And all you see are people the world would be better off without. Light thinks to himself while he walks down the street. Several people on motorcycles rush past. One of the biker gang members pulls up beside a young woman exiting a convenience store. Hey girlie, how about having some fun with me tonight? One of the members implores. Hey Taku, you got good taste man. One of the other gang members chimes in. My name's Takuo Shibumaru, that's Shibutaku for short, heh. Come on girlie, how about it? The gang leader says. Taku's usual come on. Well, it is his real name. 2 of the gang members chatter amongst themselves. I don't think so, the young woman replies. She doesn't think so, dude. Come on. The bikers continue to harass the young woman as Light enters the convenience store. Once inside, Light quickly opens the death note and writes every version of the spelling for Takuo Shibumaru's name that he can think of, along with traffic accident as the cause of death for each instance of the name. Light stares intently at his watch. Now, let's see what happens. Light muses as he looks outside to observe the results of the death note. She got away, one of the bikers says as the young woman hurries across the street. Hey girlie, I got wheels remember? Takuo calls out as he takes off after her on his motorcycle. Taku, watch out! One of the bikers yells out as Light watches wide-eyed from inside the store. Much like an RKO, a large truck appears out of nowhere and absolutely demolishes the motorcycle and Takuo along with it. This proves it. The death note really works. Light realizes as he stands inside the store watching the chaos that he just caused. Taku, damn idiot, what were you thinking? I'm out of here, man. The bikers chatter together as they burn rubber away from the convenience store. Light slips away during the commotion. What? An accident? Some passers-by say as Light walks past them. The young man covers his mouth as if he's about to be sick. I've just killed 2 people, Light thinks to himself as the consequences of his actions finally dawn on him. I've killed 2 people. Me. What do I do? Get rid of this evil thing. No. I was actually doing a service killing him. Light thinks as he pictures Kuro Otoharada in his mind. But what about the second guy? That wasn't worth the death penalty what he did. Light continues to ponder his predicament as he thinks of Takuo. No wait. This is what I've been thinking all along. This world is a rotten mess. It really needs to be cleaned up. With this notebook, I can actually do it. The question is, do I have the guts? Light asks of himself as he curls himself up under a blanket. Just 2 and look at me. Well, it's only natural, they're human lives. Of course it isn't easy. Can I take it? Maybe not. But, come on, I can't quit. So, I lose my peace of mind. So, I sacrifice people's lives. Somebody has to do this. The world needs to be cleaned up. Just suppose I gave this notebook to somebody else. Could they do it? Nobody would have the guts. But I do. I could do it. Not just that. I'm the only one who could do it. So, I'll do it. I'm using the death note to change the world. Light says as he explains his rather grandiose plans to Ryuk.
Okay.
Ryuk says in a rather underwhelming response to Light's tale and obvious psychosis. I admit, it's been giving me bad dreams and I've hardly slept the past 5 days. I've lost 10 pounds. Still, I'm on a mission here, so I've been writing in the names of the world's most brutal criminals. All the data I need is here in my room. World news on 24 hours a day on TV. Plus everything on the internet. Light continues to explain his plans to the Shinigami.
But you only specified the cause of death for the guy who got hit by a truck, nobody else. How come? Can't be bothered?
Ryuk inquires. If you don't specify the cause of death, they all die from a heart attack. That's the best thing about the death note, Ryuk. Light says to the puzzled Shinigami. I've already covered the most vicious criminals, so now the level of atrocity is coming down. And every single one of them will die of a heart attack. Even a fool is going to notice someone is bumping off the bad guys. I'm going to make the whole world know I'm here. That someone is passing righteous judgment on them. And then nobody will commit crimes anymore. The world will become a better place. Light continues his monologue as Ryuk stands in stunned silence. And, while people who obviously deserve to be punished are dying of heart attacks, I'll gradually be killing off immoral people and people who harass others through illness and accidents. Even that will eventually be noticed by the idiot masses. They'll realize they'll die if they don't change their ways. I'll make this a world inhabited only by people I decide are good. Light continues his egotistical rant.
You do something like that, the only one left with a bad personality will be you.
Ryuk correctly points out. What are you talking about, Ryuk? I'm a serious, straight-A student. A model teenager. And I, Light says as he clenches his fist, will reign over a new world. Light says concluding his insane monologue. This kid went from getting sick after killing 2 people to I'm going to kill all the people I don't like real fast.
I was right. Humans are fun.
Ryuk says with a big smile, or that could just be his normal face. Meanwhile, at a G8 summit, there's a meeting of the International Criminal Police Organization Interpol. 52 in the past week, and that's just those we know about. Every single one from cardiac arrest. All of the victims are criminals either being pursued by police, or already behind bars. We may assume that more wanted criminals, whose whereabouts are unknown, have died as well, members of the Interpol delegation discuss amongst themselves. In which case, the death toll will be well over 100, the discussion continues. We see a young man watching a computer monitor. So Interpol is finally starting to move on this. Well, this is one case where I'm going to need some help from the police. The young man says to himself. Thus concludes Chapter 1 of Death Note. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, wash the dog, brush your teeth, and all that good stuff.